Okay, look, I know everyone has an iPhone 13 review out by now, and so if you're watching this, I appreciate it. So let's just jump into the review. Okay, so this is the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and obviously I got the 256 gig. And why did I get the 256 gig? Well, if you don't know, it is the entry level storage size if you want ProRes in 4K as of iOS 15.1. Now, you can get the 128 gig if you would like, and you can still shoot in ProRes in 1080p. You just don't get 4K. So if that is something important to you, do keep that note while shopping for your iPhone. However, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's go ahead and talk about the design of this iPhone. New this year are bigger camera sensors and quite the camera bump. And so that is obviously something that we know. It's something that you can instantly pick up straight from just looking at the back of the device. And obviously we have a smaller notch here, and I'll bring that forward so you can see. Yeah, so smaller notch, and from first looks, you can really notice it. But the funny thing about the notch is over the years, I haven't really noticed the notch until someone points the notch out. And I feel like that's going to be the case going forward, especially with the new MacBook Pros having a notch. The notch is here to stay, so if you don't like it, but you still like iPhone, well, we're kind of stuck with it if you want something like these new Pro phones. The notch is 20% smaller than last year. We've heard for a long time that the notch was going to get smaller as we went along. Ever since like the iPhone 10 came out, there's been constant rumors of a smaller notch, and that just hasn't been the case. But now it's here, and so yeah. But we'll go ahead and jump into one of the most overly hyped things on the planet, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. ProMotion is now on these iPhones, on the Pro models. So if you're not familiar with ProMotion, ProMotion launched on the iPad Pros quite some time ago. And with that being said, they are now on the Pro model of the iPhones, and this means that the iPhone can now hit 120 hertz peak speeds, and it can also scale all the way down to 10. So essentially, if you are watching this on a phone from last year, say you're on an iPhone from last year, your screen is constantly running at 60 hertz or 60 frames per second. You're watching this video, and I am not shooting in 60 frames per second. So if I upload this and you're able to take advantage of that, watching it in 30 frames per second, you would be able to scale your iPhone screen down. Now, it would do it automatically for you, and it would save you actually more battery life. Why? Well, because it's not running at 60 hertz nonstop. Right here, we're just running at 10 frames per second. Now when I go to swipe, 120, back down to 10. It's kind of crazy, and if you're not that big into display tech, I can see how that can be confusing, and I'll try to leave some links to people who can explain it way better than I can in the description below. But moral of the story is, you can sit back some of that energy being used when you're in 120 hertz when you're just sitting here, when you're paused mid-article and you're trying to read, it doesn't have to refresh 60 times like on iPhones in the past. Now it can sit there at 10 and kind of save that battery life and give it back to you, but then instantly scroll up to 120 when you start to scroll again, giving you buttery smooth animations or text as it flows across the display. That's not important to some people. In fact, 120 Hz isn't important to everyone, but it's nice to see Apple has finally jumped on the bandwagon and we have it here. Now, let's talk cameras. I'm no photographer, but I do like taking photos and I like trying to take every photo the best I can. In fact, I leave RAW or ProRAW on my camera all the time, like nonstop. Why? I want the most detail that I can, and I want to be able to use as much data as I can. So why? The best philosophy is the best camera on you is the best camera is the one that you have on you. And the iPhone's no slouch again this year. Every year, iPhone makes a leap and a leap, and I'm going to tell you some of my favorite things about this one. Let's start off with macro mode. Macro mode is something that I have wanted from the iPhone for a while now, and now that they've done it, now there are some issues, don't get me wrong, in these next statements. But now that they have done it, they are amazing. I like them. Here's some pictures of some eyes I got. Here's some pictures of some flowers, some leaves. They just look so good. But there's much improvement needed. The wide-angle lens that is used in the iPhone to take these isn't the best wide-angle lens on the market. In fact, other companies' wide-angle lenses are doing way better with color and whatnot, but this is a giant leap this year compared to last year, personally speaking. You see, I've had the iPhone 11 Pro, I've had the 12 Pro, and now the 13 Pro, all maxes across the board, and this is the best wide-angle that we've gotten so far. But one of my other favorite lenses is the telephoto. The 77mm equivalent lens is just perfect for those portrait photos. In fact, my niece annoyingly, I took this photo while she was trying to eat a chicken, but it was so good. And the distance that I was at was perfect. I didn't have to try to get close or move closer to get this photo as iPhones in the past. I was able to sit across from her at our picnic and snap this photo perfectly, and the iPhone handled it amazingly. The LiDAR must be helping here because the edge detection is spot on, and the colors in this photo from this telephoto lens are awesome. They look natural and they look the way that I saw them, and that's what I like about these iPhones. Now, the iPhones this year, you can do photographic styles. So if you like those poppy, more saturated looks, or those more high contrast, or maybe those cooler or warmer tones, you can set these and never have to change it again. So that way you can have some consistency maybe in your Instagram page or your Glass page or whatnot. So most photographers know that you're going to edit and post anyways, so there's no point, but it is a nice add-on this year. Now, cinematic mode is something that I'm still tinkering with. I love it. I'm glad it's finally here. I wanted it. In fact, I was going to use it for this video, but I wanted 4K. Cinematic mode can only shoot at 1080p, 30 frames per second. And I get it, there is a lot of work needed to be done on the phone to get the background blur and so much done that 4K 60 is just not a thing this year, and hopefully going forward we'll see an improvement from that, and I'm pretty sure we will. But cinematic mode, when it works, is amazing. Like, look at this footage, just me sitting with my dog right before he chases a cat that's on the road. Don't worry, he can't get to it. But the background blur, now I left everything automatic. I didn't change any of the settings or change the bokeh afterwards. But the background blur looks smooth. There's not a lot of bad edge detection. And whatever Apple is doing here is really, really great. And this is from the front-facing camera. So I can't wait to get out and test it a lot more going forward. And I have some chances coming up in the future, and I will be sharing those full cinematic mode videos. And so make sure you give a thumbs up if you like this video and subscribe, and also hit that bell icon so we can so you can see those when I post them. But the video on this phone outside of cinematic mode is still, iPhone is one of the best on the market. I can't argue with that. I just can't wait to see what all we get in the future. Dolby Vision, it does look good. If you know how to edit it, then it just works really, really well. And the colors are great even off of Dolby Vision. I really don't know what else to say. And now that we're getting ProRes, I can't wait to get out and try that more as well, which also I have some more opportunity in the future to do. It's not wanting to do it. Let me tap it. Oh, autofocus is not really working. Anyways, as you can see, or if you couldn't, I have 5 minutes of footage. That's what I can take. Now, they do give you a free up storage option that will let you click it and it'll free up some resources, or free up resource option. And that'll buy you a little bit more time. But I did take a couple video clips. And yeah, 11 seconds of footage was over a gigabyte. So once I clean some space out on my 256 gig phone, and I can have more time and room to shoot, and I will definitely be doing a full iPhone, shot on iPhone ProRes video going forward. Okay, I've rambled on long enough. So the last few notes that I have. The A15 Bionic, insane. Insanely efficient. Putting the phone in low power mode and being able to play something like Civilization, right? So the iPhones had a bad heat problem in gaming going from the iPhone 12 Pro Max. And I can put this in low power mode, still get the same performance, close, to the iPhone 12 Pro Max, maxed out. So I can put it in low power mode and play games and not feel any heat. And I'm also saving that battery life because we're shutting down some of those cores and we're just utilizing parts of it, parts of the chip. We're not putting off a lot of heat. The battery life is already insane in this thing. I cannot kill it, which says a lot. I think I killed the iPhone 12 Pro Max several times in one day, and now I can't kill it. It's my day off, which I use my phone more on my day off, and I'm at 50%. So, kind of crazy to me. But the A15 is insanely powerful. So, should you upgrade? If you're coming from an iPhone 12 Pro Max like I did, and you're not the tech person, I don't see a reason to upgrade unless you literally just want a battery life. Which even then, the iPhone 12 Pro Max didn't have terrible battery life. In fact, I'm sure if your battery's under the 80% mark for battery health, then you should just go get it replaced instead of spending $1,300 on another one. ProRes, I haven't tested it enough, but it doesn't seem like it's that viable of a thing, like a necessity. And AirDrop is literally probably the only way you're going to move the files around because Lightning is too slow and AirDrop is also too slow. So it's either edit on your phone or wait forever for the MacBook to catch up, or your iPad. And cameras. The cameras are amazing, don't get me wrong. And coming from the iPhone 12 Pro Max to the 13 Pro Max, they are a jump. But to the average consumer, they're never going to know. If you're an average consumer, you're not going to know. You may notice that it can zoom in closer. And the macro mode, fantastic. So if that is important to you, then yeah, I just don't know if it's worth $1,300 right now. But if you're coming from like an iPhone 10 or 10s or something lower than that, maybe even an iPhone 11, then yeah, I do think these are an upgrade. I can't wait to see what they do next year. And if you have any thoughts and comments, make sure to list them below. I've rambled on long enough, and I think this battery's about to die. Unlike this one. So, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe because I have way more content coming. And yeah, let me know what you think. Should people upgrade to the iPhone this year if they haven't so far? And also, what phone are you excited to see coming out? And I'll see you next time.